Hello. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at Freebird, as you can see by my title, which I'll make a little bit clearer. So Freebird, and we're looking at the chords to start with. In the first video, I'll just explain about the chords, how you're holding down the timing changes, the rhythm, and yeah, this is a cult classic. This is a very classic rock song that I get requested to play a lot of gigs, a lot of venues, and it sounds great on the ukulele as well. And it's one you can really strum out and have a lot of fun with. So I think it'd be a really good one to learn to put in your set. And I'm going to explain a little bit about the outro as well, because I know that I've tried this with groups in the past, and it's always that B flat where people get stuck. So it's kind of going to help you break into that next level of chord playing as well. So if we start at the beginning, I'm just going to go through those chords. We've got G, which is obviously the standard G. And all the shapes there obviously are on the screen, so you can just follow those shapes if you're not too sure. And then a standard D. And the best way of doing this D, especially if you're going from a G chord, is finger order 1, 2, 3. I do see some people using their little fingers on the second, swapping and having that first finger stick out. It's kind of a guitar habit, and it's not really useful when you're trying to go from a G to D, because it means you've got to shift all your fingers quite a bit. Whereas if you notice, if I just do that, it's a nice smooth move. You can hardly see me go from G to D, look. Or if I try and use all my little fingers, I've got to swap everything around. So try not to do that. But also you could bar it. I mean, I actually bar it. I've got big fingers, big hands, so I find barring a little bit easier. So it depends on how much strength you've got, how comfortable you feel with barring. And if you're comfortable using the 3 fingers, that will give you the best control and the best sound. So G, slide into the D, and then a standard E minor. And I try and convince everyone to do it in finger order. So 1, 2, 3. You know, you should always try and have an order that your fingers run in. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because it's just about building up muscle memory and get those fingers to every time consistently do the same thing, and you'll get there quicker and it's more responsive. If you don't think about that and you kind of do it any old way and put the 3rd finger down first, and then next time do it, it's going to take a lot longer. So yeah, 1, 2, 3 finger, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2 for the F, which is a normal F, and then C, it's just your 3rd finger. That's a nice easy one, don't have to think too hard about that. 1, 2, 3 for the D. So that's how I'm doing those shapes: G, D, E minor, F, C, D. The more you practice it, the quicker you get that you actually don't see that finger order, you almost go there instantly. So it is about just like getting that settled in first. So that's the first sequence, which is G, D, E minor, F, C, D, and then there's a chorus part to it, which I'll show you when I get the sheet up in a minute. You'll see me demonstrate those parts, which is just F, C, and then D, which you see sometimes I do the bar. So let's have a look at that sheet. I think that might be a good idea, so I can just explain where we are in the song. So here we got the song. Let me just shift it along. I'm on Ultimate Guitar tabs at the moment. I was, and the idea is just if I'm gonna drag it down. There you go. So you got G, D, E minor, F, C. So the first part. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Now that first part, if I count them, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the timing of the chords. There's actually 2 beats of G, 2 beats of D, 4 of E minor, 2 of C, 2 of F, 2 of C, and 4 of D. So 1, 2, 1, 2, E minor, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, C, 2, D, 2, 3, 4. Now that's throughout the verse, and that gets repeated down. So that gets repeated like 4 times, and then you'll be in the "and this bird cannot change," which is just the last part of the verse. F, 2, C, 2, D, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, C, 2, 2, 3, 4. So F, C, and D, and that gets repeated 4 times there. So you're just playing that over 4 times. And this bird cannot change, and this bird cannot change, and this bird cannot change. Lord knows I cannot change. And obviously when you get the play along, you just got to go through it over and over and follow it. It's not too difficult because it's not too fast. And it's just one of those songs that as it gets towards the end, it builds up, and then there's this epic guitar solo. It's really fast, it's crazy, and it sounds like really mad. But you just put this in a simple version on the ukulele where you're just strumming it, and you're all strumming in time. It sounds epic, and you don't need all the guitar solo there at all. So here we go. I'm going to go that down. So imagine you've got that first verse, G, D, E minor, F, C, D. That goes around 3 times. We've got Lord Knows, you could change F, C, D. Then you've got the verse again, and we're omitting the slide guitar solos at the moment. That I will do a version of that guitar solo tabbed out onto ukulele. It's not too tricky, and you don't need a slide or anything. You can just pick it. It sounds just as good. And then we go to, this is the bit we're looking at, the epic bit at the end. So if you listen to the original song, it seems overwhelming for a ukulele player to listen to all this crazy stuff that's going on, piano, guitar and all that. But a whole bunch of us ukulele players thrashing this out, it's going to sound awesome. So you've got F, C, D for the Lord help me, I can't change, and then it builds up at that point. Lord help me, I can't change, and then he sort of sings it out a little bit. I'll do it do it in a bit with the others sing along. So and then it goes into the Lord I can't change. So we got that G, so you see I'm strumming it more, putting more energy into it. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Free bird, I said, Lord, I can't change now. So a bit of ad lib, make it up, you know, do what you ever want. That's where that guitar solo should be, and you can just kind of have a bit of fun with it. And so to explain what's going on there, so it's just a G, and then it's a B flat, which is the first finger bar across the first 2 strings, E and A, second finger on that C string on the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and then obviously you can see these parts behind on, if I can get it there. There you go. So there's the B flat and there's a C. Most importantly, and what I'll do, let's just make this a little bit bigger. There you go. So you got, there's a B flat, there's a C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this easy to learn. So I think the easy way of doing it is put your first finger across the first 2, put the 1st fret on the first 2 strings. Just learn to do that. If you can get those 2 notes sounding with a bar, and if you can't, you're in trouble. But obviously you've got to push down the thumb in the middle of the neck. First finger's got a pinch, it's got to be that C shape that I was explaining in the other videos, and you just got to basically bar that, play it, make it sound strong, and then shift it up 2 frets. That is the bottom part of that chord just moved up. So if you imagine, as we said before, there's the G, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it goes to an F, 1, 2, which is, sorry, a B flat, which is the first finger on across those 2 strings. So there's the B flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on the G, then the B flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, then shift it up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold it there, 1, 2, 3. So learn to do that first. That's the first step into that section. G, first finger. So it's only C7 with an extra bit finger across. F, so F, say it, B flat, and then moving up to the C. So you could do a normal C at that point, and you know, but the trouble with doing that normal C is you take all your fingers off and you're putting them down, and we want to strum it, and so it's better to do what we call a movable shape, because you can lift these fingers up. This is a great thing about barring and having movable shapes, is you can actually lift your fingers off and deaden the sound and mute it and get some really cool rhythms. Fly just flew into my ear then. So you got G chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then moving into that B flat, and you're going to do that for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a C. So a C, you got the B flat, slide it along 2 frets. So that's all we're doing with this easy version, is we're doing G, first finger, that's a B flat, slide it along 2. So it goes like this: G, B flat, and then move it along to C. And that's kind of what you're aiming for to start with. It's easier when we're doing it together and we do the play along, you better see that in motion. If you can practice that and you get that to start with, then the next step is to put the 2nd finger on, so you're getting a little bit more of the chord, and the second finger goes on that second fret, one above. If you can get the bar and that second finger on, you're at the very start of getting that chord sounding good and full. And that's what you want to aim for. And if it's difficult, it's because your fingers haven't learned to do that. But then you're going to find a lot of other chords quite difficult, because what you need to do is keep the bar flat, the first finger flat, and then roll the second finger over the top. So this is a good exercise, good way of training. And like I said, if you're playing in the group, you can, you know, we've done this before, where if you've got some people quite comfortable with it, and someone else could be going, you can actually just play the very simple version. You can even pick notes over the top, because if there's enough of you doing it but you're playing the right notes together, even if you're playing less notes, if you're playing the right notes and you're playing it the right timing, that's in a group scenario, it adds something, it still sounds good. It's when you're playing on your own, obviously you want to really practice playing as much as you can the full chords. Now that is only the outro part, that's only the bit at the really end of the song where we will have a bit of fun. And what I like to do that is put little stops in there. So you're going to go, so you're going to go a G G, stop it, and then that's the easy B flat, the first two strings, intermediate, third finger there on the top on the third string. So that shape there, that which you can see on the screen, is a more difficult B flat. And then when you slide it along, you get the C. If you want to do the easy C, do the easy C. But the great thing is that you can do this. You can play the chord, and I don't take my fingers off the notes. What I do is I rest them. So there's no pressure there, and I rest my fingers. This is a really good technique. You can do this with any chord that you're fingering. So I'm playing the chord, and then I rest my fingers. So I don't have to mute the strings necessarily with my other hand or do anything fancy. Just literally take my fingers, the pressure off, and that mutes the strings. So G, yeah, and I like to tap the ukulele as well. And obviously you can do this in a group scenario. There's a lot of you doing it. Sounds quite good when there's those stops and breaks in the song, and some of you can keep going as well. So we can do eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you can do it like downstrokes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then we do those stops. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 8 notes again. So if I was the leader, I'd be playing various rhythms, and you'll be watching me and copying me and following me, and it'd be quite good fun. And we, you know, be having a little bit of ad lib over the top, maybe with the lyrics as well. So the idea is there's kind of a few things that you can practice and do with the outro, which is G, B flat, and C, which is a new version of C. And a good version of C to learn if you're in a group scenario and you're playing a lot of F, C and G and you want to stand out, and you can use that version. Really good. Okay, so there you go. So that's the outro covered. I've talked about the chords that are in the song. Hop over to the next video, which is going to be me just literally just playing along with the song and singing it, and you just jamming along with it and enjoying playing along. And then when we're in the group, we can practice that together and use the play along as an example. But the great thing about any of these songs is, you know, when you're in a group scenario, you can simplify it. Don't always try and make your life difficult and try and do it the hardest possible way. If you can't pull it off when you're in a group, simplify it, make the chords easier, or strum less. Just strum one, and you can even miss a chord out here and there while you're learning and practicing. So try and make it easy for yourself in the group scenario, but when you're on your own, go over the parts slowly and practice using those ideas with how to finger the chords correctly, and just experiment with it a little bit, and it should be good fun. Alright, peace out, and I will see you soon. Take it easy.